What's up, everyone? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm back again to talk this 10-game slate with Steve Homercleese Bauer. Steve, how are you doing on this Tuesday afternoon?
Not bad at all. We just gave a once over the slate, talking about some popular spots and stuff tonight. So I think there's going to be pretty interesting slate overall. There's pretty clear chalky spots, and then everyone else should be unowned. So it's kind of a good night for GPPs, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Should be fun. And you're playing most of your action on FanDuel. We talked about a little bit before the show.
Yeah, tonight I think I'll probably split it fairly down the middle.
Okay.
with DraftKings as well. I'll probably just pop. I'll put as equal amount in the $20 on DraftKings and then on FanDuel as well on that 33.
Nice.
I think.
Nice. So you mentioned there was a couple chalky spots off the top. Do you want to just talk over what those are? Because I think I do agree with you.
Yeah, well, very clearly right off the top, you got the Ottawa Senators, the only team on a back-to-back, and they're the team that we always want to pick on anyway. You just look at every single metric. Their even strength numbers are terrible against and all that, and power play or penalty kill numbers are bad too. And then you got Philly at home rested. You got a strong top line there. So I think Philly 1's going to be the highest owned line of the night. And then Tampa Bay gets another smash spot at home against the Ducks, a team we always pick on. And Tampa's been rolling lately, so you can see their top line being really popular as well.
Yep, definitely agree with both of those. 6.5 total in the Philly game with almost 4 goals going to the Flyers there. And then on Tampa, they got a 3.7 implied total still. You see some of these other teams like Winnipeg may go a little bit underowned, even though that line is pretty affordable. And then there's the McKinnon line, and there's Nashville at home here with a decent total, and there's Edmonton and Minnesota is a huge favorite. Vancouver's got Besser back, so it's gonna be a lot to go through here, I think.
Sure.
So we got a question in chat. At what ownership in the $20 would you want to fade Philly? I don't think it'll be high enough at 15 or 20% or whatever it ends up being. What would you say there on a 10-game slate?
Totally fine. I mean, there's a number of scenarios that could happen, right? Like they could get outscored by literally any other line on the night. First of all, It's hockey. Anyone can score, get hot. Maybe Philly dominates and they just don't put them in the net, or maybe Philly 2 or 3 score, or maybe it's their power play that's kind of doesn't have straight correlation. Maybe JVR or Voracek get the goals on the power play, something like that, So, yeah, there's tons of possibilities for them not to be the top scoring line on the night. So it's definitely an easy fade if you choose to do that. But by the same regard, there's other ways you can stack Philly, right? So if you want to not fade them completely, you could just get creative with how you're doing it.
Right. Would it be a Philly Josh stack night or like power play stack? I know you mentioned that.
Yeah. So I've got I tried out a few like that. There's you could do like the full 5-minute power play, something like that. You could stack both the top 2 lines or first and third line together, something along those lines. You could just get a little creative. You could just do a 3-man stack. Maybe you just want Couturier, Giroux, Gostisbehere. So because they play together at the power play. You could just get as creative as you want. You could stack them with a line that no one else is using.
Yep.
Whatever. Like there's tons of ways to go about this tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm running 5-2-1s tonight just to try something different, to get different lineup constructions, and just getting away from 4-3-1 because I know I'm going to be duped on basically all of my lineups in the $20 if I run 4-3-1 or 3-3. So I don't want to just be a one-off away from people. I want to get the team or the couple teams that score 5 or 6 and hope I catch a hat trick or like a big performance from a power play or something like that. So that's how I'm going to be different. I think I'm still going to be playing a bunch of Philly 1 because I think they are the best play. And I'm not super worried about ownership with the line of constructions that I plan on going with.
Yeah, that's really the key. Change your lineup construction, and you automatically get a unique lineup.
Yeah. Don't just fade them because they're going to be highly owned. They're going to be highly owned for a reason. If you're fading them because you think there's another line that's going to be like a third of the ownership or something like that, if you're really high on McDavid or something like that, then yeah, go ahead if you've got limited lineups. But I wouldn't just downright fade them because they're going to be 20% or 25%.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That being said, ready to get into the games here?
Let's do it.
San Jose and the Buffalo Sabres. We have a 3.2 implied total for the Sharks, 2.8 for the Sabres. Martin Jones in net for San Jose. Carter Hutton for the Sabres. This is one where I kind of like both sides. I think we're going to see the Eichel line go up against both of the top two lines for the Sharks. Do you have a lean as to which line they see more of?
No, I think it'll be spread out a bit. It's hard to say because there's slight changes to those depth lines there. They've been using that Larson, Jurgensen's, and whoever else is with them. They mixed between a couple guys. They've been doing some shutdown work as well. They've been seeing some time, but now they got Ellie there. So maybe they see less of that. Sheary's out, so you got Thompson up there. So maybe they change how they do it. Maybe they decide to hard match Skinner and Eichel and Reinhart. It's hard to say. I expect them to see a mix of the top three lines in general, though. Cool. So I'm not gonna plan on a hard match here.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So in that case, I mean, the top six for the Sharks, I think, is definitely in play. Both lines are pretty affordable. I lean towards that second line as a full stack. I don't know where are you at on the San Jose side here, Steve?
Yeah, they have the they're better in the Corsi numbers, the shot attempt numbers, than the other two lines, at least on offense. They all have very similar numbers in that regard, but Couture line's just a bit better that way, generating shot attempts. There's a difference in the high danger chances, though. The Pavelski line and Thornton line are getting more than the Couture line, but that might just be due to Couture facing number one lines at home.
Sure.
So, but I think the Couture line's the most complete line, and yeah, the two of the guys are on the power play together, top power play, so that's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. So that just drives them home as I think a really solid value.
Yeah.
Anything on the Buffalo side you're looking at here, GPPs?
I mean, I'm always going to play some Eichel and Skinner in that. I saw you mention this in the article, but their numbers are much worse with Reinhart than they are with Pominville, offensively and defensively. It's really staggering.
Why would that be the case, though? Right? I mean, it's not like Pominville's some great defensive player.
Maybe it could just be who they've played in those games where they had Pominville on the line. Could be that. Maybe he's just a better puck possession player than Reinhart. Maybe better defensively.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that after the first few games with Pominville, and then Reinhart went up there, and I was like, oh, this line's going to be sick. And they're just terrible defensively in their first few games together. So maybe it'll straighten out. But
Reinhart is a good player. He's a good offensive player, so you figure the numbers should be better than with Pominville, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured. So
something I got in the back of my mind, but I'm not going to keep. It's not going to keep me away from using that line at all.
Agreed.
That makes sense. So.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be in my pool, even with the 20 max here. I'm sure I'm going to have some Eichel exposure, whether it's 1 to 2 or 3 lineups, something like that. Defenseman here. Or any other lines you're looking at? Any other depth lines here?
So Ristolainen looks like he's back on the top power play unit over Dahlin, and so I'm not going to play Dahlin too much tonight at all. His appeal is the assists on the power play, and so I don't think you really need to play him. Risto's got a much better floor, so I'm only playing him there. I think you can maybe make a case for a couple of the Buffalo defensemen, since San Jose's got such good shot generation.
Yep.
So they should be able to block a few. Bogosian's a guy that's kind of standing out there at 3,300. Is blocking some shots. He has a pretty good floor. He's also mixed in a few shots on goal himself. So he's a guy I don't mind punting with there. And you got the obvious guys on San Jose.
Yeah, Burns, Carlson, $900 difference. I mean, I prefer Burns, but Carlson, once again, pretty good consolation prize if you can't get up to Burns. And you can mix and match either of these guys with either line. So that's what I like about them. Both perfectly fine for where they're priced at. Goalies, Jones or Hutton, either guy you're going to see heavy exposure to. I know you're not a Martin
heavy
Jones
exposure,
guy.
No. Not heavy exposure. I mean, Jones is a pretty good price at 7,300, so I'll probably have some of him. But won't feel great about it. It'll probably just be with San Jose stacks. Buffalo's on fire right now, to be honest, but I think they won 9 in a row or something like that. They've been really good at home. San Jose is coming. Like, this is all just narrative stuff, so don't read too much into it. But San Jose's got their ass kicked by Vegas last game, so you think this is a pretty good bounce back spot for them. Maybe Buffalo's getting a little too confident there. Also, Buffalo's been trailing a lot in games lately and relying on late comebacks to put it together. So if that trend continues, I think it'll be a lot tougher against a team like San Jose. So yeah, I don't mind taking a few shots on Jones.
Yeah, so Buffalo, I think they've won 9 out of 10 or something. Maybe it's 9 in a row. And they're like last in the league in shot attempts for, and scoring chances for, and high danger chances for. I saw a tweet from Todd Cordell. So just kind of weird how that works. Maybe not a team that should have won 9 straight. So just something to note there. I wouldn't just ride the hot streak because of the record if you are doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next game, the chalk. We've got the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia Flyers. Mike McKenna going for the Sens, Anthony Stolarz for the Flyers. He is not on FanDuel. Steve told me before the show, so don't try to play him over there. 2.9 implied total for the Sens, 3.7 for the Flyers. I think it's even a little bit higher than that right now. All right, so we talked about it a little bit, 10 minutes ago, but what do you do here with Philadelphia 1 and then the rest of this game?
Well, I'm going to have Philly 1. I'm going to play them in a bunch. Their numbers are solid. They're a good puck possession line, and Ottawa's bad. Every single Ottawa line that they used last night is bad, giving up shot attempts and scoring chances against. So I think any even strength matchup there is really good. Ottawa, they're playing on the back-to-back. You never know. They could throw some curveball out there and they change the line combos or something. The Stone line with Tierney is very good, but they had him with White last night, and they're not as good defensively with White. So I would maybe be a touch concerned if they had Tierney up there tonight. I could see maybe the Couturier line going up against the Stone line in that case. So that would kind of downgrade the matchup for me. But overall, this is a fantastic power play matchup for them. So even if they get a tougher even strength draw there, it's really good. 2 terrible goaltenders, 2 terrible penalty kills. So I don't know. Philly, you can play just about everything here. You could play power play stacks. You could play the top line, second line, third line. They're all pretty good.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, the top line is going to be the highest exposed or the highest owned line of the night probably.
Yeah.
But, you look at the third line, quote-unquote third line with Van Riemsdyk, Wheel, and Simmons. Those guys all get power play time. You get power play 1 exposure with Van Riemsdyk. It's a way to get different off the chalk. So, yeah, it's there are options within Philadelphia, even though they're going to see a ton of ownership. It's pretty easy to get different. They're not chalk because of a lack of options and just they're expensive and they make you use all the salary type of thing that we see sometimes on shorter slates. This is the best spot of the night. Ottawa on the road back-to-back. They're horrific defensively. So, no issue with any Flyers lines here.
Nope.
They're going to be pretty obvious chalk, and they should be. So you mentioned the Tkachuk-Stone combo. Do you have any interest in them with White centering them or no?
Yeah, I do. I think it makes for a great game stack here, to be honest. I think that's one. I think both sides are appealing. I mean, you got Stolarz in that. He looked good in relief in Toronto, made a bunch of saves. So there's potential here. He's only 6,800 on DraftKings, which is great. I would use him in cash on DraftKings without thinking about it.
Sure.
Even though, I don't have high hopes for him against Ottawa, but I do expect a lot of goals in this game. Last time the two teams played, it was a 7-4 game earlier in the season. Yeah. So I expect kind of a back and forth thing here.
I agree. And you just look at Ottawa has a pretty good power play this year as well.
Yep.
And Philadelphia's penalty kill is last in the league. Ottawa's second to last. So it just sets up for a ton of goals, or at least the opportunity for a ton of goals here.
Yeah.
So I do like that Stone, Tkachuk, Shabbat trio if you're looking for a line that's going to be low owned in a super high total game. You mentioned Stolarz. He's $6,800 and he's a favorite at home against a team on a road back-to-back, a bad team at that. So He's, of course, in play. I'm not really worried about goalie ownership ever. You taking any risks with Mike McKenna?
No.
Okay. Didn't think so.
Not touching him.
Yeah. He's kind of oddly expensive for the spot. 7,300. He should be like 6,100. And then on D, do you have a preference between Gostisbehere and Provorov when you take price and ownership into account here?
Gostisbehere, just because the power play is the spot we want here, okay. I think.
And then anyone you're punting with, like a Robert Hagg, I guess he's 4K on DK. Sanheim.
Yeah, him and Gudis are similar to me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Sanheim.
Okay.
If you really wanted to go down there, 2,900 is pretty good.
I agree. All right, next game, Carolina and Montreal. 3 implied total for the Hurricanes, 2.9 for the Canadiens. Curtis McElhinney going up against Carey Price. Montreal, they didn't hard match in their last home game, but they have been hard matching with the Danault line against opposing top competition. If that's the case, they're going to see a lot of Aho, Furlan, Teravainen, and that would be a pretty good spot for Montreal 1. But what say you, Steve?
No, I agree. Yeah, it's a good matchup. If you're going to go against anyone on Carolina, you want to go against the top line. And so if the matchups are going to go that way, then the second and third line look like the best option for Carolina, and the top line for Montreal.
Wait, say that again. Oh, the second line for Carolina.
Second, third line's not too bad either.
Yeah, did you?
I think their price is starting to come.
Were we on the show that one night? Was that Friday night when they banked everything Carolina 3 did?
Yeah, I had them in. Wait,
I can't remember. I'm not sure if we were on the show together, but
no, we were on Thursday.
Okay, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, right. It's all blurred together now, all the days.
Oh, interesting. I'd expect Danault to face Stahl. Either that or Montreal will just roll 4 without matching. Could be the case. Yeah. The last game really tripped me up with Montreal because I had just assumed they were like hard matching this whole season. But yeah, that could be the case, Corsi. You might be right. You know what you're talking about, obviously.
I think if it's not a very clear cut, if it's not very clear cut, then I don't really try to worry about matching.
Right.
Like the last game, they kind of mixed and matched, right? So
yeah.
Maybe don't go too crazy with that, but you just look at the individual stats of the lines, which one's generating the most opportunities and chances, and just roll with that.
Yeah. Would seem weird for Montreal to voluntarily roll Domi against a real tough D match install. That makes sense too. The Domi line is really bad defensively, so that's the line I wanted to pick on. But if we're not going to get a hard match, then I'm kind of lukewarm on this game all over the place. Even though I do like Carolina 3's numbers are incredible and Montreal 1's numbers are incredible. So if I was making more than 20 lineups, I'd probably get more exposure to this game. But as of now, I don't see myself having a ton on either side. Do you like any defensemen here? Shea Weber back for Montreal. Are you taking a stab with him at 4,700?
I think it's interesting. I mean, 4,700 back on the power play is just going to shoot a bunch. The Habs power play has been pretty awful without him, so maybe that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible for a goal tonight, but I don't know. The Carolina penalty kill has been getting a little bit better this month, and they're not taking as many penalties, so there might not be a ton of opportunities here.
Yeah, I kind of like Schlemko just because Carolina, they attempt a bunch of shots, a lot of block shot equity, I guess, for Schlemko. He's 3,100 playing with Weber. He's going to play 20-plus minutes, and Osmo has him as an A value. So he's kind of my value play in this game. And then anything on Carolina's side?
DeHaan's been pretty good lately. What's his price at?
31.
Is he not? Yeah, so he's a guy I kind of like to punt with.
I like
just decent enough floor. He can get you a couple points.
Sweet. And then either the goalies. I know we like Carolina or target.
I think both.
Go ahead.
Both goalies, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, A value for price and A points grade. So Osmo seems to be pretty heavy on good old Carey Price. Ready to move on?
I mean, pretty much any goalie against Carolina is worth a shot, right?
Yeah, agreed. They just attempt so many shots.
Yeah.
All right, Ducks and the Lightning, 2.5 implied total for the Ducks, 3.5 for the Lightning. John Gibson, the expected goalie for the Ducks, Louis Domingue for the Lightning. We're going to see some pretty hefty ownership on Tampa, so talk about what you're doing with Tampa or what you plan to do so far.
Yeah, so, sorry, do we have any solid lines on the Ducks here? I know they've kind of jumbled things the last couple games, so.
You mean solid lines as in, like...
Yeah, like, do we have any solid information about what their line combos are going to be? I was kind of trying to figure that out. They're a tough team to figure out.
Just like they always have a curveball. Like someone's getting late scratched. Like they mix up Silfverberg and Kasha or something like that. Like Richie finds himself on the top line. It's just there's always something with Anaheim. So I don't think there's anything like that said from today that these are going to be the lines. But just going by what they did last game, it looked like Getzlaf was actually with Silfverberg the most, and Raquel got moved around. I don't know if he committed a penalty and was in the box for a while or what.
Yeah, it's just, who knows? Who knows what's going on with Carlisle? Yeah, he's the worst.
I mean, I'd like to play the Getzlaf line if I knew it was going to be Getzlaf, Raquel, and Silfverberg, like for a fact, and I knew they had a good chance of playing the whole game together because they're going to get a hard match against Point Johnson, Kucherov.
Yep.
And that line's been pretty poor defensively, as good as they have been offensively.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of muted like interest in the Ducks because of how random things are on their side. I don't know. Yeah,
exactly. That makes it tricky because I would like to take some shots on the Ducks here as a contrarian approach. Yeah. I mean, Tampa Bay is an obvious spot here. Right. We don't have to talk about them too much, although to say they've been hard matching a lot lately. Mm-hmm. So they've got, as we talked about, the point line will hard match against the top line. So they'll play against Getzlaf no matter who he's with. Mm-hmm. And then you get the third line, the Cirelli line, Cirelli, I'm not sure. Yep. Anyway, third line, they're playing against second lines, pretty hard matching. And then Stamkos gets the third line. And so that's kind of interesting here because he'll probably get Kessler or Henrique, depending on how they do it. But that's pretty appealing. That's just given what Kessler's done defensively. And then if you look at the stats of the lines, the point line is very good offensively. They're really solid. You look at all their offensive numbers are great, but defensively they're pretty leaky. They're giving up a lot of shot attempts and a lot of high danger chances against. Mind you, they played some pretty good top lines. You know, they played the Barkov line, they played the Saad, Taves, and Kane, and they played against Taylor Hall.
Yep.
And so, they've had some defensively. They're giving up a lot, and so I think that's kind of why I wanted to look at the Getzlaf line. But then you look at the Stamkos line. You mentioned this in your article today, the power play thing. If you just look at the numbers of Tampa 2, their Corsi numbers are really good, and their high danger chances are really good as well. Largely a product of who they played, but it's a solid line too, and they get the better matchups, and they're much, much cheaper. So I think that's a reasonable pivot tonight, going Tampa 2.
So Tampa 2, you mean the Stamkos, Miller, Gordy line?
Yeah.
Okay. Or Gord. Is it Gordy or Gord? I
Gord.
Think
Yanni Gord.
Okay. I like that line as a value. I think you can probably fit them with Philadelphia 1, so maybe not as low owned as I thought we were going to get them this morning.
They're showing up on a lot of my early crunches here.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little disappointing, but it's just obvious value for a team with the monster total.
Yeah.
Better even strength matchup, as you said. So I like it a lot. I mean, I'm not fading Tampa 2, but with 20 lineups, I'm not fading Johnson, Point, Kucherov, but with 20 lineups, I just don't know how much they're going to come up if I'm making lineups in Fantasy Crunch. I'd like to have them in a lineup or two, but probably going to be lower than the field on the point line.
Yeah, my initial basic crunches, I got all Stamkos and none of the point line. So it's just from a value perspective there.
Yeah. That's scary. I wonder if,
on FanDuel it's different. I'm getting a lot more of the point line.
Okay. Are they just more affordable? Is Johnson super cheap and Point too?
Johnson's pretty cheap. Point's not bad. And I just think Stamkos is more expensive on FanDuel than he is way more expensive on, he's $7,900 on FanDuel and then much cheaper on DraftKings there.
Yeah.
$5,700 on DraftKings. Yeah, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. It's just, that stuck out to me right away. 8 points, grade A value for Osmo too. So he didn't miss that one either. Anything you're looking at or want to talk about for goalies here with Gibson, Domingue, and then any defensemen you're targeting heavily? Montour, Hedman, Sergachev, any of these guys?
It's hard to love the goalies at their prices for GPPs and stuff like that. Yeah, like, I don't know if Gibson can really steal this one. Tampa Bay is a really good team. They got so much offense, and Gibson's kind of cooled off and isn't as good on the road. So I don't know if I really want to take the GPP shots that I would have earlier in the season.
Yeah, I just don't want to mess with that Tampa power play either. So
yeah,
it's just kind of a bad matchup in all facets of the game for Gibson. So I agree with you there.
But yeah, I mean, I saw Tampa 1 and 2 obvious plays, very clearly obvious plays. But I'm really interested in what the Ducks are doing. Like no matter what they might have practiced with or whatever, I'm gonna have to see it in warm-ups what they actually roll with. But I do want to play some Ducks just because of Tampa Bay hasn't been great defensively. They've given up 30+ shots in 9 of their last 10 games, and their penalty kills dropped to 69% this month.
Wow.
So just a little leaky defensively here.
Yeah, I was getting quite a bit of like Getzlaf, Raquel as two-mans, which I like.
Yeah.
But like seeing what they did last game, I don't know if they're even going to stay together the whole time. That's the only issue. So we should do some digging after the show and see what we can find, if there's anything.
Yeah.
Or if anybody saw anything from Twitter, from the beat writers, feel free to post it in here and help everyone out.
Yeah, I'm slowly scanning through here, but the Ducks Twitter.
Yeah.
Not really seeing anything great.
Ducks Twitter is one of the bad ones too, right? Aren't they pretty?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they don't really have. They're not great. They have a few good beat reporters, but they just don't get any info from Carlisle.
Yeah. Always fun. Why would you want to help out fantasy sports, right? All right. Colorado Avalanche and the Nashville Predators. We have Varlamov versus Rene. 2.7 implied total for the Avs, 3.2 for the Preds. I'm not getting much exposure to this game at all. I don't know about you, Steve, but what do you see in this game?
Oh, easy game. Just play Colton Sissons.
Yeah.
Hat trick every time against Colorado.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. It is Colorado. That's his Colorado. They just can't stop Sissons. And he's on the power play too, playing with Bonino and Hartman. Could it be a better spot for Colton Sissons?
Yeah, hat trick last game.
Yeah.
He has 4 goals this year. 3 of them were in that game.
Yeah, it's outrageous. I mean, are you looking at either of the top 2 lines here? I think we're going to see, the top line may have some ownership because you could probably make it work with Philly 1, especially if Watson's up there. Second line is super cheap, but I don't know. I don't really have a great read on anything in this game.
Avs are giving up a ton of power play opportunities. Preds are drawing a ton of power play opportunities. So I think you can take some chances here. I know Nashville's got a really jumbled power play, so that's kind of tricky. That seems like a pretty clear spot where they'll be put on the man advantage a lot.
Okay.
One note, Tyson Barrie's out tonight, so Girard comes up on the top power play unit. That's pretty appealing there.
Yep.
For him, 3,600 on DraftKings. So he's a guy I might have some of.
I was looking while you're talking. You mentioned that Colorado gives up a ton of penalties, or commits a ton of penalties if we had a good ref here.
Yeah.
But goals per game, one of the refs is 7th, one of them is 14th, both around 6 goals per game. So kind of neutral, maybe leaning a little bit towards DFS friendly if you're stacking Nashville. But nothing outrageous for either of these 2 refs that they have. I was looking to see if maybe our boy Furman is reffing tonight. He is not.
You know what? We hadn't seen him in a little. Like there was a few games without him playing, and then all of a sudden he came back and didn't call that many penalties. Pretty sure he got a sit down talking to there.
Yeah, maybe the DFS community should have just shut their mouths.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the refs analyze this stuff really carefully. They get disciplined within in-house discipline there. So they go over every single call.
Yeah. God, that's crazy. We had a good run with our buddy Furman South. So hopefully...
There's a couple guys tonight I'm seeing. It's Francis Chiron in the LA Vancouver, and then the Reed Anderson in San Jose Buffalo.
San Jose, Buffalo. Yeah, that's a game I already like those two games. Well, I like the Vancouver side, and then I like both sides of San Jose, Buffalo. So, definitely doesn't hurt there. We're gonna get low on Colorado 1, almost certain of it.
Yeah, I would play them anytime you can get them at lower ownership there.
Just matchup proof. I think you agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. These two teams played so much recently though with the playoff matchup and that. Yeah, I think it's a good spot for them still. But
I agree. Yeah. And then, so speaking of hat tricks, Austin Watson on the top line, Johansson, Forsberg. Is that the line you're mainly targeting for Nashville, if at all?
Yeah, I think first line, and I am going to have some of that Benito Citizens line.
Okay. Is that a narrative thing, or you like their numbers, or?
Just like depth matchups against the Avalanche would be preferred.
Sure. And then no PK Subban for this game. I'm not sure what happened, but I think he was supposed to come back a couple games ago, and then he ended up not coming back. But he must have had a setback. So Yossi, Ellis, Ekholm, the clear guys you want. Ekholm still on that top power play for the Preds, but I'm going to try to get in a bunch of Yossi if I can for 6,400 here, especially because Colorado does commit a ton of penalties.
Their penalty kill has also gotten much worse this month.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, Colorado. So early in the year, like first month of the season, they were still taking the most penalties in the league, but they had a pretty good penalty kill, and now their penalty kill is kind of catching up to them a bit.
Awesome. Rene, Varlamov. Rene at 8K, I actually don't mind. And then Varlamov for 7,400. Either of those guys. You like
Goalies are okay, but nothing really stands out here. I don't really like any of them. They're fine.
All right, let's move it on then. Arizona and Minnesota. 2.4 implied total for the Coyotes, 3.2 for the Wild. Antti Ranta going up against Devin Dubnyk. I like the Minnesota side here. I don't think that's going to be a shock. How has Arizona been at the expected goals as of late? Like, have you looked at like their last 5 or 10 games? I know you talked about it a couple weeks ago, but
I don't have the last 5 or 10 games handy, but
let's see if I can look at it.
Yeah, they're still towards the bottom and for the season.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
they're like bottom 10, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 solid Minnesota lines.
Bottom third.
So, doing 5-man stacks, like I'm going to get to a lot of Stahl, Zucker, Granlund with like Coyle or Parisi or something like that as my fourth forward, and then you can get in any of these defensemen, Dumba, Suter, Spurgeon. So I think Minnesota sets up really nicely with what I'm trying to do tonight. Are you on Minnesota?
Yeah, for sure. I like both lines though. Not just the top line.
Oh no,
not just the
like
Stahl line.
Well.
Yeah. So Koivu, Parise, Coyle, pretty like much better possession numbers there than with Niederreiter, and equally solid high danger chances as with Niederreiter.
Yeah.
So I like them, and just looking at the Arizona line combos here, we got Schmaltz on the top line here, new appearance here, but Galchenyuk is bad defensively. So if they get that shutdown matchup, that's the ideal spot here.
Yeah.
Rather than going against Stepan.
Minnesota's another one that they haven't really been hard matching the last couple games. I don't know why that would be. Kind of some balance. You know, you've got Stepan. Some might consider him the top line or the top center. Some might consider Galchenyuk with Keller. So we don't know for sure, which is kind of frustrating. But yeah,
I imagine they would think Galchenyuk, Keller would be the top line. But then, like you said, I think in the Montreal game, why would you want to put Domi against a good defensive center, right?
Right.
In which case, why would you want to put the Stahl Granlund line against Stepan?
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't know how they think about that, but I know that Koivu had the Scheifele Wheeler line last game, so
okay.
It's kind of what I'm assuming here. They do.
Yeah, I think you're right. That would probably make the most sense. And maybe they get Stahl against, or try to get him against the third line or fourth line here and there.
Yeah, actually, let me just see. Actually, that's what they did against Winnipeg. They had them against the third line.
Did they?
Yeah, they had Eriksson Ek against the little line A line.
Oh yeah, I do. Eriksson Ek with Greenway, and was it Foligno last game?
Yeah, Foligno.
Yeah. That was kind of a weird game, anyways. The Wild got crushed for the first 2 periods and then dominated the third. So
yeah. Just trying to look at the Arizona second, third lines here.
Let's see if I got it up.
Yeah, I got them all together here.
Grabner with Richardson and
Fisher. Not a lot of minutes.
Yeah,
pretty dull.
Super dull. Yeah, nothing crazy either way.
Not a lot of hard data on this, right? But
right.
I don't know. Either way, I'm going to be playing both. I'm going to be playing both the Minnesota lines. I'll have probably equal amounts of both, but to say which one's the better option, I don't have a hard take on that. All
right. We got defensemen here. Anyone you want to talk about? Suter, Dumba. Spurgeon?
Yeah, Suter and Dumba for sure. They're solid. Dumba's quite much more expensive there. It's Arizona has a very good penalty kill, but they're taking a lot of penalties. Arizona's giving up the third most power play opportunities this month, even though they still have the top penalty kill.
Wow. Yeah, they're creating, or they're taking go ahead.
And both teams are drawing a lot of power play opportunities. They're equally drawing the second most power play opportunities this month. So Minnesota will see a lot of power play chances here tonight, or they should.
I like it. Yeah, even better.
Yeah, so Suter becomes more appealing when the power play matchup's really good. Otherwise, Dumba's the guy.
Yeah, Dumba correlates a little bit better to that second line, the Koivu Coyle line. But now that I think of it, if they're going to hard match, then they're probably going to have the Suter-Spurgeon pairing with Koivu and Parise.
Yeah.
At even strength.
Yeah, so Spurgeon looks pretty good in that spot, I would think.
I like it.
Yeah.
Either of the goalies here, you're taking shots on Dubnyk, the most expensive goalie on the night at 8,500, or Ranta, who could see a bunch of shots.
Yeah, I think there's merit to both here. Dubnyk obviously would be the top option there if you can get up to him. It's just tough to pay all the way up on DraftKings. There's usually so much value towards the bottom.
Right. There's always a 7K goalie with a decent chance at a win.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't think there's a need to force Dubnyk in at all.
Yeah.
Penguins and Jets, 2.9 implied total for Pittsburgh, 3.2 for the Jets. Casey DeSmith going up against Connor Hellebuck. We've got a red-hot Patrick Laine coming off the 5-goal game. I don't think he's played a game since then, but that was over the weekend.
Yeah, it's the St. Louis, yeah.
Are you going back to Laine and the Jets here?
Why not? Yeah. Yeah, he's on fire. Play the guy.
Right. Any particular?
But I think the depth matchups are pretty good against Pittsburgh, right? Like Malkin and Kessel are bad defensively.
Yep. And then as far as line matching goes, do you expect Scheifele to go up against Crosby for the most part?
I would think so. I haven't paid close attention to what Winnipeg's been doing at home recently, so let's try to take a quick look, see if I find anything here.
I don't have it in front of me, but for some reason I thought that they were going with Lowry against the second line for a bunch of the time.
Yeah, actually, we could see him against Malkin, the Lowry line.
Okay.
But in general, I do like Winnipeg tonight a lot. They should go under the radar. They should go under the radar with Philly and Tampa being popular. It's hard to fit. It would be hard to fit Winnipeg as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do it with $6,800 Kyle Connor, $7,900 Patrick Laine, and then like you look at Scheifele and Wheeler, they're both expensive too. So I don't think you can do it. At least with Philadelphia 1, you might be able to sneak them in with 2 or 3, but that's going to be much, much lower owned.
Looks like they didn't hard match too much in the last game.
Okay.
But there's very slight edges where like the Scheifele line saw the most of the Eichel line slightly, and then Lowry saw the second most, and then so on. The Connor line or Connor little line A line played against second and third lines, so mostly.
Are you looking at anything on the Pittsburgh side here? We're gonna get low owned Pittsburgh, or at least relatively low owned Pittsburgh, which we don't see very often.
Yeah, I think you want to go against the depth lines, but I think any of the 2 Pittsburgh lines are great. Maybe even the power play though.
Yeah, Pitt power play, pretty much always in play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton on the Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
side.
Jets are giving up the 5th most power play opportunities in the league here, so.
Cool.
It's a good spot for the power play. Yeah. I think, ideally you'd like to play against the line A little Connor line at even strength, but the Jets will control those matchups. So
for sure, yeah, we're not going to have clarity on who's going to see who for the most part, and they usually mix and match the Winnipeg second line anyways. So we got any Chris Letang love or Dustin Byfuglien love? Any of these guys on the blue line that you're looking at, or goalies here?
Yeah, I like Letang a lot, just given the power play matchup there. I think it's a pretty good spot, just given the opportunities that they're going to have or potentially have. And Byfuglien, yeah, for sure. The Jets have the second or tied for the best power play in the league, so definitely want to get exposure to that. And you can get exposure to both the top two lines through Byfuglien that way.
Yeah. Did you mention goalies at all? Hellebuck 8,200 or DeSmith for 6,900? I don't think I'm touching DeSmith. Stolarz is just like the clear guy in that price range on DK.
Yeah, DeSmith would only be if I'm doing cruncher and have 150 lineup, something like that kind of deal. I think there's better cheap options, right?
Right.
So would rather take those. Hellebuck is somewhat interesting. The Pens can go cold on offense from time to time, although Hellebuck hasn't been great in a little while.
All right, let's move it on. We've got a couple more games to talk about. Vegas Golden Knights at the Chicago Blackhawks. Marc-Andre Fleury going up against Corey Crawford. 2.9 implied total for the Knights. 2.6 for the Hawks. What do we do with this game here? Blackhawks have switched up their lines. We've got Anisimov with DeBrincat and Kane on the second line. Taves with Saad and Hayden, it looks like. So just
strange.
Like pure blender going on in Chicago. They usually go with the Taves line against top competition. I don't know if that's going to change. I don't even know that they've been doing much hard matching since Joe Quenneville was fired. So I don't really have much I love at all outside of Vegas 1's price is pretty nice on DK.
Yeah, I like Vegas tonight. I think they're kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
In general, as underpriced line, going against Chicago is just pretty poor defensively here.
I'm seeing right now if you can fit in Vegas 1 with Philadelphia 1. Yeah, you can actually do it. Stolarz.
So Vegas is very strong underlying numbers. They should be doing better than they are. They're starting to heat up a little bit offensively. In 5 of their last 10 games, they've had 4+ goals, and they've had 5+ in 4 of those games. So they're starting to get some good games in. Usually those games are coming at home, but their power play's also improved a lot since they made the switch. Since they switched Carlson off, they got Pacioretty. Since they changed the personnel there, they got Miller up on the power play. So it's bumped up from 17% overall last month to 23% this month. So kind of heating up a bit, and then the Hawks have the 4th worst penalty kill in the league. And they have, by the underlying metrics, they have the most expected goals against per 60 allowed on the penalty kill.
Wow. That's pretty bad. I didn't know they were that bad in the kill, I guess.
Yeah, horrible.
Okay. How's Vegas 2 been at even strength? Do you know if
yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers here. The Corsi numbers aren't great. They're poor defensively.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah.
Yeah. So not great defensively. Their even strength numbers aren't great. The top line's got the better even strength numbers, but I think the power play makes Tuck, Pacioretty, and Miller, like a 3-man stack like that, fairly interesting, especially for the price.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to leave off noted goal scorer Cody Eaton, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the second you do that, hat-trick.
Yeah. Just the short-handed king. Anisimov, Kane, DeBrincat, any interest there in GPPs? If they're going to see some time against Eakin, Pacioretty, Tuck? I mean, they're probably going to see time against everyone. But.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, better. Yeah, for sure. I would take some chances there.
Okay.
Kane with DeBrincat, they never play them together. So I think if I'm going to play the Hawks, that's the line I go to.
Yeah, 100% agree. We've got some options on the blue line. I know you mentioned on Vegas' side you like Miller. I think you prefer Miller. And then on Chicago's side, Gustafsson listed on the top power play. Is that raising your eyebrows a little bit?
A little bit. I know the Hawks have a pretty trash power play. Yeah, they're dead last in the league.
Yep.
Vegas, not a terrible penalty kill.
Yeah, so I guess Gustafson's my preferred option, but if I'm going with Chicago full line stack, I'm probably going to avoid the defenseman unless I have $4,100 left and no one else is there. Forsling, anyone else like that?
Yeah, I like Forsling. He's pretty interesting. His price is starting to come up a little bit now.
3,200.
Yeah, he's getting up over there. He was a nice 2,500 punt for a little while, but yeah, he's got a pretty good floor. He's shooting the puck a bunch. His minutes are going up, so that's all pretty appealing. And then yeah, I'm okay. I think Seabrook and Keith are fine.
And then
they're decent. But.
Goalies, Fleury or Crawford, 77 and 78.
Kind of like both. I kind of like both goalies in the spot, just given how the offenses can go pretty cold at times.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind exposure to either side, but not guys I'm starting my lineups with or anything. I don't think you should ever start your lineup with the goalie anyways. But
yeah, I think the thing with Vegas is they always look like they're in great matchups. I think they just perform much better at home than they do on the road. So Crawford's kind of appealing here.
I like it. All right. The Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers, 2.8 implied total for the Stars, 3.2 for the Oilers. We've got two star-studded top lines here. Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Alex Chiasson looking to be on the top Oilers line. Pretty decent value there, all on power play 1. And then Dallas 1, we know about them. Great numbers, but actually not great defensive numbers. So I like both top lines here quite a bit. What do you see here, Steve?
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, the top lines only. I wouldn't touch anything else. Although Puljujärvi is a guy to keep an eye on. I think Hitchcock really wants to push him. So he's someone to watch for the next little bit.
Yeah, he's 2,700 playing with Nugent Hopkins. I mean, that's not bad at all. So if you're punting 2,700 or you need like a mini for 8K, you can fit in Nugent Hopkins and Puljujärvi. So
yeah, I wouldn't go there tonight, but I think Hitchcock's working to get him to up towards that top line. That's kind of what I see going on here.
Yeah, he was up there. He was up there for a little while last year with McDavid, but it was like McDavid, Puljujärvi, and I can't even remember who the third. It might have been Kajula.
Probably Lucic or someone shitty.
I think you're right. I think it was Lucic.
Yeah.
That was a disaster, but I actually don't mind Nugent Hopkins. He's coming up quite a bit in some of my 5-mans where I'm getting full on Edmonton stack. So he's on power play 1 and he's shooting quite a bit and creating a lot of quality chances. So not on McDavid's line, but does still correlate on the power play.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then we're going to see pretty low ownership on Dallas 1 here, I have to imagine. That's super interesting to me. They grade out as one of my top ranked lines, and points-wise, they're not great values, but I do really like Dallas 1 a lot with Heiskanen, who's also on the top power play.
Yeah, what do you make of this though? Dallas, who started out the year with the best power play over the first couple weeks of the season, were killing it, and they have the worst power play in the league this month. They're down at 9%, and they're drawing like the second fewest power play opportunities. So if you're gonna go against, maybe they break out against Edmonton here. He's got a pretty bad penalty kill, but what's going on with their power play?
I mean, is it just Klingberg being out of the lineup?
Yeah, that could. I mean, that's certainly probably it. But
I mean, he shouldn't. You still have Sagan, Ben, and Radulov. You can get someone decent to quarterback the top unit.
Looks like they got rid of Spezza on that unit. They got Shore up there now.
Yeah, that's
at least according to Daily Faceoff.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, that might be just a complete guess on their part. You never know. But yeah,
true.
I mean, assuming it's Heiskanen up there, whether it's Spezza or Shore, it doesn't really matter. Hiskanen's 4K, so you've seen what kind of upside he has when he does chip in offensively recently.
Yeah. So I made the mistake of playing him in cash a couple times. He's definitely not a cash play, but phenomenal GPP option, especially correlating with Sagan, Ben, and Radulov there.
Yep, love it. And then Clefbaum up to 5,700, 8 points grade B value for Osimo. It's usually just him and Larson that I consider at their respective price points. So I don't know. You have anything else to add there on the Edmonton defenseman and then goalies here?
I mean, Clefbaum stands out as a good play. mainly. Like, so I'd like to get up to him if possible. But yeah, if not, you can get your exposure with Larson because they should be playing together with McDavid against the second line.
Yep. Clefbaum, last 3 games, 8, 5, and 4 shots on goal. Just attempting a ton of shots. And no goals. So he's really, really hunting for his first goal of the season. And I'm sure he'll get it soon here if he keeps shooting at the rate he is.
Yeah.
All right. Last game of the night, then we'll get out of here in time for the NBA show. We've got the Kings and the Canucks, 2.8 implied total for both teams here. Calvin Peterson expected to go for the Kings. Jacob Markstrom for the Canucks. Brock Besser returning to the lineup with Elias Pettersson and Nikolai Goldobin. That's really the only line I have interest in. Outside of that, there's really nothing for me to talk about here. So if you got anything else, Steve, please let us know.
Big time power play spots for both teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Vancouver's committing a ton of penalties. I know that.
Yep.
Is LA as well?
LA has the 3rd worst penalty kill in the league.
Okay.
And yeah, Vancouver is drawing the 2nd most power play opportunities in the league.
Nice.
So good spot for their power play. They got Besser back. Vancouver giving up the most power play opportunities per game. Their penalty kill is at 67% this month. So Kings power play, I'm definitely willing to consider them.
Does that mean we have to play Carter and
Doughty?
Foley? No, Doughty's fine. Doughty's fine.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I would have them in consideration. I like Kopitar and Brown. They've just been doing better lately. So ride the hot streak a little bit.
It looks like from chat, Matt says that Jonathan Quick is expected to go tonight. Does that change anything for you? Hasn't played in quite a while.
I mean, yeah, he's barely played this year, and when he did come back from his first injury, he was pretty bad from what I recall. Mm-hmm. He's the kind of guy that has to warm up into it. I mean, maybe. Is he officially in?
He's not official. But...
He's no longer on the IR.
Okay.
He's a full participant in practice.
He's probable? Because I saw a Daily Faceoff.
I don't think. I'm just looking at the DraftKings note briefly here. Let's see if we can find some actual info.
Upgraded to probable Tuesday. That's from a different website. And that could just mean he could be backing up Peterson. Like, he's going to be active for the game. So, I don't know yet that he's confirmed, is he?
Which tells me he sure... Oh, okay. He was quite chatty this morning, which tells me he sure isn't starting. But will probably back up. So, Cal Peterson tonight, I'm assuming.
Okay. Oh, is he one of the guys that doesn't talk on game day?
Yeah, according to the beat writer.
Okay.
So. Yeah. No, so, I still like the Basser line. Basser line and the Kopitar line and then the power plays. That's what I like.
Yeah, I love the Besser line. Pettersson, Besser, Goldobin. And then it's, like I've said, I'm doing 5-man, so Horvat's going to find his way in there in a few of those as well.
I do like that.
And then Alex Edler. Is he really on the 3rd pairing with Biego?
Edler's back, eh? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Kind of a bump down in minutes, but if he's going to play on the top power play.
Maybe they're easing him back in. Oh, yeah, he came back last game. I missed
16 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe he sees 20 here. I don't know. That might be a bit ambitious, but...
No, he's usable.
Yeah. Anything else on this game or the slate in general, and then we'll get out of here.
Nothing really. I mean, you guys don't have to avoid the chalk spots if you're going to be creative with your roster construction. I think that's the key point. But you also don't have to be forced into any of the chalk spots given how big the slate is and how easily any other line could go off. So just keep that in mind when you're building.
You said it best, guys. I'll be back tomorrow doing probably a solo show. I think we've got a pretty decent-sized slate. So give us a like.
5.
Is it 5? All right. Sweet. Perfect size. Way better than like 14 that we had last week. Give us a like if you did enjoy this. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck. And someone bank that GPP tonight.